Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Man, if I got a smash hit today, we learn how to do In the Air Tonight by the great Phil Collins. I have never done this song, which I did not realize until this morning. So I thought, wow, I'm gonna just do a little acoustic guitar arrangement of that. It's a pretty simple thing that's going on with the chord progressions. I'll kind of explain how to think about these chord progressions and how like a music theorist would probably analyze them. It could be analyzed a couple different ways, but there's one way that's much more obvious. So we'll talk about that a little bit so you'll know a little bit more about the song and how it was composed. But we're going to go through both sections. There's basically two main riffs. There's or chord progressions. There's the one for the chorus and the one for the verse. I just kind of played through both of them there. And then the last chorus is a little kind of added bass lines going on to it, which I'm going to show you kind of a version that you can play of the chord progression that incorporates those bass lines. Makes it a little bit more difficult to play, but it does kind of bring, make that ending song hit a little bit harder, ending section. I'm sorry, after the killer drum fill. So we're going to get through this step by step. So before I do though, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Ring that notification bell so you know when I release a new video. So you can like and comment on the videos. It really helps me. And actually watch the videos. That would really help too. It kind of really helps with the whole YouTube algorithm and helps this video get shared with more people. And if you really want to support what I do here on YouTube, I always tell people the best way to do it is just to join my Guitar Academy. You'll see a link to that in the description below. My Guitar Academy contains all my guitar courses, from complete beginner courses to more advanced courses in technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone. I go live there every Saturday for just Academy members, just a kind of a live video stream so they can ask me questions. And I'll give you personalized support as well beyond that. So please check it out. That link in the description will give you a free 7-day trial. So I hope to see you over there. All right, so let's jump into the track. I'm in standard tuning here. And we're going to start with just the chorus riff that's going on. So it's obviously a synth patch. We don't have that. A synth, we play these chords on guitar very easily. So what's going on throughout the entire song is we have is what helps create this kind of ominous sound in the song is there's a D note being held in the root under all of it through just as like a drone throughout just about the whole song. So, and what's going on over that is he's playing simple triads on top of it. So a normal, most music theorists would just determine this to be a static modal harmony. Static meaning that the tonal center never changes. It just sticks, well, not the tonal center, just the bass note in general. It just stays the same. It's D throughout the whole song. And so you hear that ringing, and then we just play triads from the mode on top of it. So in this case, it would be D Aeolian, you would think of the mode. It's just pulling chords from its parent F major key. It's just triads, if you will look at it that way, or just D minor triads. Chords out of D minor key, natural minor. So when you hold the D in the bass, so I'm just playing a D minor chord on top here. And then I still keep the D going. The next chord here is just a C major chord played over that D. And then a B flat major chord played over that D, and then back to the C. So that's pretty much the chorus chords, right? And then I'll go through these a lot slower in a second, but I'm just kind of explaining the theory behind the song real quick. The verse does the same process. It's just using a couple different triads that are found in the kind of parent key, like you say, of D minor or F major on top of it. So we have still that D minor triad over the D, and then an A minor triad over the D. So this A minor's in the key as well. And then that same B flat major over the D. And then this last, which is just an F major triad over the D. Now you can look at this, but the chords that actually creates. And so this would be a D minor for the chorus. This chord with the C on top. I'm going to slow it down in a second and actually show you these chords. You can look at it as a D minor 11 without the third. This is a D minor 6 when you have the B flat over that D. and then back to that D minor 11 with no third. And then for the verse chords, D minor, and then when we get that A minor on top, we can just call that a D minor 9 with no third, and then back to that D minor 6. And this last one, when you get a F major triad over a D, basically just gives you a D minor 7 chord. So you'll see some people just actually call the names of the chords out themselves. I think it's easier to look at how it was probably composed, which is this: he's just thinking of triads in the key of D minor, D natural minor, or you can think of the triads of F major. It's the same thing. They're just relative keys, and you can just combine those over a D drone, and that's basically what I think he's probably thinking when he was composing this, and not D minor 11 no third. I'm sure he wasn't. So anyway, let's start with the actual lesson now. So we're going to start here with a D minor triad. So I'm going to keep this open D string throughout the whole thing, and I'm going to have the 5th fret there on the high E, the 6th fret there on the B, and the 7th fret there on the G. So this is the opening progression, which is also the chorus. So he kind of starts the song with the chorus. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play a different triad on these top 3 strings. We're going to go down to a C major triad. So that's going to be the 5th fret there on the G, 5th fret there on the B, and the 3rd fret on the high E. And we're going to still keep that open D string in the bass. It creates a cool, you have that open D because it always creates that really ominous feel. And then just take the same exact chord shape and move it down 2 frets to the 1st fret. So get the D in the bass. So that's a B flat major triad over a D. And then just go right back up 2 frets to the previous chord. And those are the 4 chords that you're going to hear in the chorus. The chords move a little bit quicker in the chorus. So we have this. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord. So the choruses that happen later, like the next chorus you hear is a little bit longer. But anyway, it's probably because there wasn't a whole intro before it. But then after that first chorus, we just kind of hold on the D minor chord for a little bit. And then that takes us to the verse, which looks like this. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. All right, so what we're doing here is we're just going to play that same D minor. Now the chords move a little bit slower here. So now we hold each chord twice as long for the verse. So we're just strumming that D minor twice as long. And then what we're going to do is take it down here. We're going to play an A minor chord on top of this D. So we have... So what we're doing here is open D string, 2nd fret there on the G string, 1st fret on the B, open high E. Then back to that D minor 6. So this chord happened in the chorus, it was that B flat major chord over the D. here, this last chord in the verse, he mixes it up and he comes up here and plays an F major triad over the D, which is going to make a D minor 7 chord. So that's going to be the 5th fret there on the high E, 6th fret there on the B, and 5th fret there on the G, open D in the bass. So that's, well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. All right, so from there it just goes straight back to the chorus. And remember, the chords now go by they last half as long as in the verse. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Like I said, some of the choruses later, the vocals might last 4 times through the progression instead of 3 times. And then we have the song goes back through the verse and the chorus again, and then we get to the killer drum fill, which we're going to learn on guitar now. So we're going to start here. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so we have a drum fill, and then it goes back through kind of a dynamically louder version of the chorus, and we have some bass lines in there. It's kind of like a string section, kind of sounds like, or like a bass on a synth patch that's doing it. So I'm going to play a version of this chorus progression where you can maybe add those bass lines. It makes it a little bit more difficult to play, so I'm going to leave it up to you to do it. So it sounds like this. So we're just trying to catch those bass lines and then go right back to the chords as quickly as possible. So we can start with just the D minor there. And then so the first 2 chords are the same, but when we get to that 3rd chord, this B flat over a D, you can play it one of 2 ways. Like the way I just did it, which is a little bit easier probably. You play the B minor, the B flat chord, and then you play 0, 1 on the 6th string, and then jump back to the chord. So you can kind of go over. I bring my thumb over it because when I leave that string, I don't want that E coming back. And then we go back to the C now over the D, and we kind of do the same thing, but it's going to be open A string to the 3rd fret on the A. So, but it does that twice. It goes. So. It's a little bit cumbersome, I get it, but you can just jump back here and play that top note. And then come back. Now another way that you can do this is to go ahead and prepare for those notes by playing the bottom of your finger to get that top note. That also lets you keep holding the like that. And then do the same thing at the C. That way that top note doesn't die out. So it's a way of making a very simple song not very hard to play. So it's up to you whether to do it, but kind of sounds cool once you get it. You can just choose which way you want to add that bass line to it. But then that just kind of goes out through the fade out. So I know there's some extra little fills going on. There's some little guitar in the intro and that kind of stuff. Obviously not covering that, just kind of focusing on the actual chord work in the song. It's not a guitar-based song, so we have carte blanche of how we want to treat it. But it's a very cool song, cool chord progression underneath it. So maybe a little theory there will help you understand how it was written. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.